Hey, Awesomes, I'm back. So we're continuing with primary research, part two. Recall from our last video, we were setting up the interview, right? So we talked about these 5 components to an interview, starting off with effective questions, right? We went over some samples here. We want to have those prepared. Then we want to reach out to the person. And keep in mind also that in this scenario, if it's not possible to do a Google Meet interview, keep in mind too, we want to stay safe. We're not doing this in person. If an interview one-on-one, through Google or Zoom or something like that, just is not feasible for the person that you want to reach out to, you'll have the questions ready. If I can't meet, then maybe we might do follow up and say, can you maybe you be interested in answering some questions for me? We can email them the questions, right? And so that would fall under emailing. So we'd interview, so we'd send like a questionnaire, right, as opposed to a survey, sending them our 3 to 5 questions and having them just type in their answers. That will work just fine. So we want to be professional when we email, right? Dear, if it's a former English teacher or someone that dear Miss or Mrs., Mr., if it's a doctor, right, Dr. So-and-so in the field. So we email them. And then, so if we get a chance to do a face-to-face kind of situation via Google or via Zoom or something like that, a video situation, make sure that we're polite, right? Say thank you for meeting me and taking the time. Introduce yourself, the name, or they already know you perhaps, depending on what your comfort level is. College standing, maybe the course, your major, explain what the interview is for and the purpose. Politely ask your questions, respond to each answer, conclude by thanking them, and think about how you record your responses. So if you email someone just a questionnaire, obviously you're going to have them recorded, but think about so you're not just talking with them and having this great conversation, then you get done with your interview with them, and then you're like, oh shoot, now I got to remember every single thing that they said. You might have your so you got a pen. And for my purposes, a lot of times I use these stenographer notebooks. You might just let them say, hey, while you're talking, I'm going to be listening, but I'll be looking down, and I'm just going to jot down some notes as we talk, right? How are you going to record the responses? Ultimately, we're going to use them, right, to think about not only establishing what our writing idea is, but then how to make it sticky. Because remember, some of our questions we're going to ask them is like, what would you do, right? How would you teach somebody this thing? How would you help somebody improve? Do you have an exercise, something we can use? So when you're conducting the interview, obviously, as a reminder, be polite and gracious, and think about what you'll wear. So if you are doing a situation like what's in the background, are your video and audio working, make sure that you're all set. And then again, just how will you record responses without any disruption? Say, oh, you don't want to, hey, can you repeat that one more time? Well, that's okay. Try to get it down as you're doing it, right? As you're listening, if that's possible. And then reporting your interview results is much like secondary results, right? Just like how we do secondary research, you use the person's last name after you introduce them first and last name. Then you can quote and paraphrase. So the big thing is that we remember what they told us. We've got those things noted and jotted down so we can give attribution, right? Give credit to where credit is due, right? So if we do use their idea, let's say they give you this awesome exercise to do, right? And then you're going to add some stickiness to it, and your basic overall idea, we'll just attribute them on our paper, right? And in our video. All right, so our assignment this week is to prepare our interview questions in our groups, right? Let's get 3 to 5 questions down, right? Feel free to use some of the ones that you feel might apply. You can reword them, kind of make them your own. Make sure they're not yes or no or one-word answers, that they're essay-type answers that solicit a little longer response. Schedule the interview or schedule the questionnaire, reach out to somebody, get a response back, get that process going, and then plan your interview. If you can make it to conduct it and get it done this week, that's fine. But for this week, primarily get our interview questions done, get an email out to somebody, and start that process. All right, that's it for the week. Not too terribly challenging, but just got to keep it moving forward. Every single thing we do is building on each other. All right, guys, stay safe, stay awesome.